Hi there. Welcome back to another Wild Goose Garage. On this episode, I'd like to talk to you about gas. Maybe not that kind. Stay tuned. You've essentially just paid for what it costs to own a Ferrari. And what I want to talk to you about next is the gas you're going to put in your Ferrari. What kind of gas are you going to put into it? Clean, dry, or wet and dirty? But we're not talking about gasoline, not the petrol type. We're talking about compressed air. So you're dropping a bunch of money on this new machine, and you're thinking to yourself, man, I got to start saving some money here and there. An air compressor is not an area you want to skimp on. You need to make sure that your air compressor is big enough to meet the demands of the machine that you're trying to run. So for our machines, take for example, they run about 12 cubic feet per minute, CFM, at 100 PSI. That means a compressor has to be able to put out that much output to keep up with our system's demand, how much air it's calling for to make everything move and do what it's supposed to do. So when you're sourcing an air compressor, you got to make sure that you buy one that's big enough to not only run our system and keep up with the demand, but you also got to consider the other equipment in your brewery as well. If you got a keg washer, anything like that, you need to make sure that this compressor is big enough to run both of these simultaneously. If you want to know the exact formula to spec out your brewery and what air demands you have for all of your equipment combined, go online, look up Boyle's Law. In addition to a good quality air compressor, you also want to consider a good quality air dryer. While your compressor may be pulling and pumping as hard and as fast as it can, what it's pulling in and pumping out is important. So that's right. If you have a proper sized air compressor, you also want to make sure that the air you're pushing out of there is the air you want to use. This is what a new set of air tubing looks like, and here's one that's been a little used and mistreated, or maybe not treated properly. What an air dryer is, or a refrigerated air dryer, what it does is it goes and filters the air that we're pushing out of our compressor, which contains debris, oil, and moisture. Folks that live in real humid areas, this is important for you because the air that we're putting into the machine is what's going to give it its longevity. If we're giving it good, clean, dry air, those components are going to last a long time. All of our cylinders, all of our pneumatics. If we're filtering or pushing in a bunch of junk, we're really at jeopardy of hurting the entire system, one of the most expensive, costing about 10 grand to fix. So it's really important to feed the machine with good, clean, dry air. And a refrigerated air dryer is what we recommend. They run approximately $1,000 or so. But I would definitely invest in one. There's different options, but again, you just bought a Ferrari, man. You got to take care of this thing. So make sure you're giving it the right kind of gas. Let's recap. Buy an air compressor that's big enough to run not only our system, but anything else that you might want to run simultaneously with it at your facility at the same time. Again, reference Boyle's Law to add up this size compressor you need. I would bet you that an air compressor manufacturer would be able to help you with that formula and the specs required for your brewery. And then don't forget that refrigerated air dryer. You want that air to be good and clean so it keeps all of your pneumatic systems good and dry and lasting a long, long time. So, until next time, we'll see you next time. Cacao. Cheers, everybody. If you're in a brewery, very humid one. When we're talking about gas, most of you are probably thinking about what happens after you eat garlic or onions. Crack it open. This here is a little Home Depot jab that I've had for 20 years or so. Damn it. Talk about gas.